to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently. We have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough. And it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleached to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate? You should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you? And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromise and sweet talk. Stop sweet talking it. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
Yeah. Hold on, y'all. And hold on. So let's do that. All right, let me hit the button. Whew. All right, so we wanted to do something special today. And some of y'all might not know what's going on, but there's a reason why we played that Malcolm X clip in the beginning. Make sure you tell a friend. I want y'all to be signing in. And yes, this is the One Nycha show that we do every Sunday at 4 o'clock with Rock Logic, Saundrea, Coleman, Stan Morris, and my man Mike Jones in the house. And we all here. Share. And I see you all popping in early. So you know what? 404. And we get a mic check around the room. Saundrea.
What's up? I'm here.
Mike
in the
Jones.
building.
Here.
Stan Morris.
Yes, sir. 1, 2.
So we're all here. All right, time for me to put the brakes on it. And boom. Man, I gotta tell you, man, you know what? It's been a good week. I'm not mad at what's going on. Tomorrow I'm hosting, I'm not hosting, I'm actually sort of doing the streaming, producing sort of a thing for the mayoral forum that they're having out in Brooklyn on Grove Street at the church with so that should be pretty interesting. You know, I haven't been there yet, so I'm a little concerned because I'm used to kind of like being able to suss things out early, but it should be fine. It's relatively simple. It's not as complicated as the last one.
Okay.
And that's Tony Herbert is moderating, Cynthia Tibbs is moderating.
Okay.
And there's 2 other people. Oh my God. One guy, he's from BLS.
Okay.
He's from BLS and he's moderating. So it's like 4 of them that are moderating. And the TA presidents are actually being brought in, interesting enough, by police escort.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the police are picking them up and bringing them because they're coming from all over the boroughs.
Okay.
So they're all coming in on some police escort stuff, and that's going to be interesting tomorrow. And that starts at 6:30 tomorrow, and that's going to stream on the YouTube page. Groovy Track, and that's GROOVEYTRAC. The same link that I had from the last one that we did.
Okay.
Same link is going to be available, and we're going to stream live from there so y'all can see. And the candidates are actually showing up.
Good. Okay.
They're actually coming in, so it should be pretty neat. Saundrea, what you got going on, Mama?
Hey, all. My week was amazing and busy as usual. I am grateful to be doing good work. Ministry, advocacy, wellness checks, and organizing. I personally endorsed Julie Minna, who is a city council candidate for District 5. The video rolled out Monday via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So that was a nice thing for me to do and supporting her. She's a big wig in the city. I did a photo shoot with a candidate this past week. I can't name them, not yet.
Okay.
On January 29th, the Social Justice Committee that I co-chair, we crafted a resolution calling for the accountability and condemning the insurrection that took place on January 6th, 2021,
Okay.
at our capital, our U.S. Capitol. This Wednesday, we brought the resolution before the full board, and it was passed. So that, you can give me some on that, because that was really good for us to do, for my community board to do, and we passed it through the full board meeting. That's how it goes. You know, it's done it at a committee, but at the full board meeting, if there's a resolution, it needs to be passed or not passed. So that was done. And today I took part in the State of the District, which was held by my city council member, Ben Kalo. Shout out to him. I sung the national anthem and shared a bit about my advocacy work against privatization. And lastly, it is day number 265 with UES for BLM.
Wow. So y'all still out there?
We are still out there. Like I said,
Consistency.
day 265. We've been out there since June 2nd of 2020, 7 p.m. nightly, a vigil and a march. One of the organizers, come through. If you're interested in being a key speaker, Stan has done it. Rock has done it. Get at me. You can, and I'll put you on. All right. That's it.
Stan Moss.
Yes.
What's the deal? What's been going on with your week, brother?
Want to give a big shout out to Nycha-Nyc Dillard, who's on The Wire and a couple other shows. He endorsed my campaign.
Yeah.
So that's the first celebrity endorsement.
Ooh.
You know, and I want to give a big shout out to Wahid Jamal for putting that together. You know, so I understand there's some football players coming down the pike that are going to endorse at some point. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm going to put Rock on the spot, get some of these celebrities, you know, to endorse the campaign, and we can make some noise that way. Also got a lot of phone calls this week from folks who have vouchers, you know, which is why this show is so important, who are stuck in the shelter system with vouchers that they can't use because the market rate rent, the vouchers don't meet that, you know. So folks are suffering out there, and it's really tough. I think one day you may want to do a show and focus on that. I'm sure we probably talk about that with this gentleman, you know. So I definitely want to highlight that and say we got to do something about that. With folks living, we getting shout.
So you get a Section 8 voucher.
And it's not, they're worthless.
And it's worthless because it's not up to the market rate for the apartment.
That's right.
What kind of jazz is that?
It's absolutely a worthless piece of paper. And then most of these vouchers are like that, you know, so we're starting to get a lot of phone calls about that, you know, even though we deal with NYCHA issues, but that's an affordable housing issue that's really affecting our community. So I definitely think we need to highlight that and talk about it. And also, since this is the anniversary of Malcolm X's assassination, I've been giving a lot of thought to that. I actually watched the movie again last night and was just deeply affected by his life. You know, he's a role model to me, and I'm sure so many of us. Yeah. You know, so definitely want to highlight that's been on my mind, and you know, trying to focus on the greatness of his life. Yeah. So it's been my week.
And that was why I played the video in the beginning. If y'all always kind of question, like, what are they doing? You know, it was because this is the anniversary. Now, was he? Was he killed on a Sunday? Actually, when that happened?
I believe so. Yeah.
So it should be like spot on, spot on.
Spot on. Absolutely.
No, that's incredible. Mike Jones, what's going on, Mr. Jones?
Well, me and Lorenzo, one of
Okay.
one of my friends and partners when it comes to the CLT. Well, we're trying to start a Ravenswood CLT.
Yes.
So we can get the ball rolling with this sanitation department that's going on across the street from, especially my house. It's literally across the street from my house. And we trying to prevent any private developers to come in and try to take any control of our neighborhood when we can give it to the public. The public can sit there and have some sort of authority what's going to be there. We don't want it to just come privatize it. The next minute, we don't have no say so. It'll be random people coming in there and making choices, especially that's going to affect us in Ravenswood.
Doing big things.
We ain't trying to have that happen.
Doing big things.
Yes, sir, Mike.
Wow.
Oh, Mike. You do that.
And I just want to say there's new information about Malcolm's death that just came out. The police was involved. What's the gentleman's name?
Police undercover officer Ray Woods.
Yeah, had a last minute confession on his deathbed. Felt guilty about his role. We understand that they arrested Malcolm's bodyguards, a couple of days before he actually got murdered.
Yep.
And so we're going to be looking out for more information about that. And I saw his daughter speaking.
Yes.
So there should be some news to come out. We're really going to get to
and
the bottom.
Attorney Crump is involved with that too, which is good, which is really good.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget the FBI, right?
FBI,
So,
police and the
and
FBI.
Manhattan, the district attorney is also looking into this case, and the FBI has declined to comment.
Ooh, so we're looking to hear some news on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I really think that I think that as the 60s move into truly being the past, right? I mean, like in that almost 100 years ago it happened, you know what I'm saying? So let's say put another 30 years on it, makes it just about 80 years. We're going to find out a lot of information.
Sure.
About JFK being assassinated,
That's a whole fact.
all those people will be dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, okay, let's release the truth. So
Yeah.
that's what I think. That's what's going on. Just to hit the chat room real quick, and then Saundrea, take it away. Big shout out to Evie. Cynthia Tibbs said mostly it's the FEPS vouchers that shelters give out that nobody wants to accept.
Yep.
John Coleman says, great job, Miss Coleman.
Okay.
Big shout out, John. All right, John.
Is that your John or my John?
I'm not sure which John.
Eleanor Bumpers.
Hey,
she's in the
sis.
room. Always good to see you. You know what I'm saying? Upcoming soon is in watching. Okay. And Suzette Ellison
Hey,
is in the
Sue.
room.
Hey, Sue.
So, Saundrea,
Yeah.
let it go. Because we got a special guest,
Yes.
right? We got serious business going on here. We got a special guest.
Yes.
And I know you can't see him, and now I'm going to add him into the situation.
Let's see him.
Okay.
Yes, sir. There you go.
Yeah. So we have a guest today that's gonna discuss things in the shelters, in the M.I.C.A shelters. He's gonna explain what he's been experiencing and how he's an activist and his advocacy work. Fighting for not just his life in the shelters during COVID-19, but for others as well.
Wow.
So welcome to the show, Alfonso. We follow each other on Twitter and we've met via virtually, but I will be down to see you and check on you and do some work with you. But take it away. Tell the people who you are, a little bit about yourself and the work you're doing.
Well, I appreciate y'all first and foremost. Thank y'all for having me on y'all show. My name is Alphonso Syville, 46 years old. I've been in the shelter system for the last 11 years. I've been in the shelter system since 2010 in April. But, like I said, I'm 46. Back in my younger years, I caught a federal incarceration charge when I was 23. I had to do 7 years. So I came home when I was 30, which was in 2004. So, I learned from all my past mistakes as far as living under other people's roof and everything. So, my mentality when I came home in 2004 is, to have my own apartment. So, I started working, I was working for a nonprofit called Grand Central Partnership. And then in 2005, only been home for a year now, after 7 years. 2005, I got in a car accident, which left me with permanent back damage to my lower back. I got 2 herniated discs, 1 bulging disc. So in 2008, I was forced to start working because of my back issue.
Oh,
And at that time, I was subleasing apartments, when I started subleasing in 2007. So once I started working, I had to sign up for Social Security, which I got approved for in 2009.
Okay.
And but in 2010, I had my Social Security coming through. The guy who apartment I was subleasing, he passed away. So wasn't nobody there to fill out the information and stuff for the apartment. So I had to leave. So, I like living under somebody else's roof is not an option for me. And me living under a female roof and we not married or that's my fiance, that's not an option for me.
wow.
I'm definitely not living under nobody's roof just because I need a place to rest my head. That's never was an option for me. So, when they lost the apartment, and when I lost the apartment in 2010 in April, I said, since I'm getting SSI and since I can't work no more, and since it's hard for me, to do the normal society things to try to make a living, I said I'm gonna go into the shelter and get an apartment through them with my SSI. That's like the only step. That's the only step that I had. And I came into the shelter in 2010 in April, and then like 6 months later, whoever the mayor was at the time, he cut the work advantage program
I remember
in
that.
2010. So once he cut the work advantage program, that left a lot of people stuck in the shelters.
Wow.
And another program didn't come out like that until 2015, which was the Link program.
Mm-hmm.
And once so from 2011 to 2015, I was is either, I stay in the shelter or I go live under somebody's roof, which is not an option for me. So, I thugged it out. Then 2015 came, they did the Link event, the Link thing. But DHS, instead of sending the people through that they know that can hold down an apartment, DHS sent all the K2 smokers through the first wave. So once the K2 smokers went through the apartments in their first wave and they tore up all the apartments, the landlords didn't want to accept the Link event, the Link program voucher no more. So to be honest with y'all, like because of the COVID-19 virus now, that's why a lot of more housing is opening up for the homeless because of the COVID-19 virus.
Mm.
But if it wasn't for this virus, y'all,
How's that actually happening? What do you mean?
things would be worse, huh?
You said because of the COVID-19, a lot of apartments are opening up, right? What's happening? Why? Is it because people are leaving New York City? There are a lot of available apartments. What's going on?
Yeah, like I would think that's like going on. I guess a lot of people leaving New York City. I gotta understand, like, I've been in the shelter, like since this COVID-19 thing been going on, I've been in the shelter, haven't really been out in the streets a lot. So I don't really know what's going on the streets and how many people is leaving. And, I really been to myself for this whole COVID thing. So, but I know there's a lot of apartments open because that's what they're saying inside the shelters now that they're inside the shelters. There a lot of people are starting to get apartments now on there's some city FET voucher.
Mm-hmm.
That's the vouchers that they going off of now. And so that's just basically that's my shelter history and why I'm in the shelter, why I'm still in the shelter, how I got in the shelter, and that's just that's just how I got here, and why I'm still here. And just the shelter system is since I've been in the shelter system, it's different shelter system. You have the single adults, the regular shelter system, you have the family shelter system, and you have the MICA shelter system, with the mentally health challenge.
Chemically abusers, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've been in that type of shelter since 2015.
The MICA shelter. The MICA
Yeah.
one? Okay.
Yeah, but I just got my mental illness. I just got diagnosed in 2017. I never had a mental illness in my life, but in 2015, they put me in a M.I.C.A shelter, but I never had no mental illness, but they still had me in that type of setting. And the M.I.C.A shelters is very different from the regular shelter. Like in a regular shelter, for example, if you get caught smoking a cigarette or you get caught smoking K2 in a regular shelter, you could get suspended for 7 days, get put on the street. But in the M.I.C.A shelter, you can't suspend us, you know? So guys is doing everything and anything in the M.I.C.A shelter because they know they can't get in trouble because of their mental illness. So, you know, I was forced to
I'm kind
adapt
of
to this
curious.
type of living.
Alfonso,
Yeah.
so what are some of the things that actually, some of the abuses that people do because they know that they're mentally challenged? I don't want to really kind of skate over that. I kind of want to delve into that a little bit. Like, what are they doing?
Oh, well, with us, they do a lot. They use our mental illness against us. Like, you know, they know that we had challenged with mental illness. Instead of trying to help our mental illness, what they would do, they would trigger our mental illness.
Wow.
They would trigger our mental illness, and then they will call the ambulance on us and get us EDP. That means that they're saying that we having a mental breakdown.
Yes.
Which is really not the case. They just tried to do that to me like 4 days ago.
Wow.
And who's doing this? The counselors? Like, who's actually the staff at the
staff, like this is the staff. You have the staff in the shelters. You have the counselors, the directors, the housing specialists, and all of them. Them people, like them, the people in the suits, you know, they come with their regular clothes on. They really don't do nothing in the shelter. They just make sure that the shelters is ran right, or the books or the money, because it's all a business. Yeah, so they really there for money.
Tell it. I said, tell it. Tell the truth.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
So they really there for the money. Now, the people who runs the shelters and keep the shelters in place are the maintenance workers, the RAs, and the shelter monitors, the staff monitors. But these are also regular people like us. You know, they put them in position, and their training is they don't understand that they at work. They have to be professional at all times. They bring they hood mentality to work, and then you dealing with mental ill clients. And the number one, you in a men's shelter. We are men before anything, before any mental illness or anything. We are men. So you have to talk to us and address us as such. You can't be calling us out our names like they call us out our names. They call us all type of bums. They kick us out the shelter.
That's horrible.
They steal our property, man. They steal our, I had them steal like $900 from me one time. They steal our property. They steal our clothes. They steal our medication. They feed the feeding is horrible because the medication, when you're in a mental health shelter, the medication is held. They held the medication. You have to go to the staff to get your medication. When you're in a mental health shelter, you can't run around with your own medication.
Wow.
So sometimes, you know, like sometimes guys' medication, you know, their medication is a hustle. Like that's stuff that they steal and they can sell.
Right.
You know, and like I said, and then the peoples that do run the shelter, they regular neighborhood people. They need better training. So, you know, it'd be hard for us to get our medication in.
So would you say these people that are working there aren't trained to deal with the mentally people with mental health issues? Is that what you're saying?
If they are trained, they need better training. But
listen, if you think they're not trained, I'm going with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. That's all.
They program because of how the big people in DHS, the head people in DHS, how they want their shelter run. You understand? Like the M.I.C.A shelters, they like it's a business. They don't want to help us. Instead of helping us, they rather see us hooked on drugs, or they rather see us locked up. Because if that's the case, then we out of their head. You know, that's not their problem no more. You know,
I gotta say, in full disclosure, I was in a shelter and horrible experience, you know, and I saw they were making like $3,000 or so on my family, you know, and you figure that's one of the reasons why the system is broken, because it is a business. As long as you're in there, somebody's making a profit. while you're there. And so from what I'm hearing from you is there really is no incentive to get people to get better and move on. They'd rather have you stuck so they can keep collecting the money on you. Is that kind of how you see it happening?
Yes, you're 100% right. Like I said, I've been in this shelter 11 years. There's no way that I'm not able to take care of myself or have my own apartment. I came from my own apartment. They refused to give me housing because of my advocacy. They refused to give me housing because I make complaints. So for their way to make me suffer is not to give me housing, to keep me in the shelter. That's why I'm going on 11 years in here.
Wow.
So that's how they punish me. You know, but
well, I'm gonna tell you this, brother. I'm gonna work with you, and I'm gonna work with some elected officials, and we're gonna try our best to get you housing, because this is unheard of, you know. And I know you've shared how they try to serve you all uncooked chicken. I mean, it's like, yeah, he's showed it on social media, chicken that's raw inside. This is what they were feeding them.
That's inhumane.
Yes, yes. The conditions are just horrific.
Well, in the room here, right?
Wow.
Alfonso.
yes.
So Diane Pagan says Alfonso is an excellent person and he should be on a task force to create policy. But the city will never hire the people who know, because people like Alfonso will stop the money train. De Blasio is complicit with the shelter operators, and upcoming soon to talk about it. And Tamika Mapp says that's not all. She said that's not right at all, talking about the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So people in the room are acknowledging you, Alfonso.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I like since the beginning of the COVID-19, I've been not advocating. Like, I don't look at it as advocating. I'm looking at it as this is what I'm living. I'm just talking about what I'm living, you know. And there's no way that I could just talk about myself, and because I'm not just the only homeless person, so I have to talk about the rest of the homeless guys, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're a reflection of me. I'm a reflection of them, you know. So, and then we see they didn't have no precautions set out for us for the COVID-19 virus.
Wow.
They had nothing set up, y'all. Nothing.
In the,
Only
mental
thing
health, in the mental health shelter, do they have y'all in a dorm or y'all in a specific your own room?
Well, right now, it's different ones. A lot of them is dorms. And they got a few, like I think the ones on Ward's Island, that help USA shelters. I think they got separate rooms. They got rooms, but it's a lot of them is dorms. A lot of
How
them
they
is
treating that with the COVID right now?
Well, what they did with the COVID is they split like the MICA shelters. They split it up. They sent some of us is in the hotels, and some of us are still at the shelters. So it's enough space for everybody. I think the ones that's still in the shelters is the ones with the sex offenders and the people who don't have no papers and stuff like that.
Wow.
So now, are they keeping the facilities clean during COVID-19? Is the upkeep the way it should be?
No, not at all. Not at all. And when I talk about it, I guarantee I could talk about every MICA shelter that's probably in New York City, because I've been in every one, and they all operate the same. Is the maintenance workers, they don't do anything. They get $15 an hour, which it ain't right. They get $15 an hour and they have to clean up urine, feces, throw up, blood. You understand? And they getting 15 an hour, and then you have to come in there and you have to deal with the mental ill clients, you know? So it's a tough job. And me personally, I would never work there for no $15 an hour, and I'm not cleaning up nobody's feces.
So now, do you get counseling? Do they provide some sort of programming and counseling for the folks in there?
Counseling.
Or groups or anything? Is there anything helping folks to get over?
They don't care about all of that. All of that is, they don't care. The mental health shelters, they don't care about the mental health. They allowing us to destroy ourselves, or just like the guy that did the murders on the trains, they allowing us to go out into society, the general public, and get ourselves in trouble. So, you know, either way we out of their head. Long as it's not happening inside they shelters, they don't care about what happened.
This is crazy.
Yeah, the attorney general should be looking into the situations in the shelter, just like how they come out and inspect nursing homes, right? They should be checking out these shelter facilities. All of them.
Jocelyn Taylor was running for mayor. She said, I would hire Alfonso. I said it before. It's about big business, not actually fixing the problem. And she's right. Diane Pagan said, this is why de Blasio and Cuomo shut the subways. They did it to increase demand for shelter beds because most reasonable people with no are homeless do not want to enter the shelter. Right. Okay. So now, can you describe like a little bit of some of the conditions that's going on there in the shelter? Like how's your room, your bed, your toilet, your facilities? Are they maintained?
No, not at all. Not at all. You know, when I was around, like when I was in shelters, you know, they would make it look like they're doing something because they know that I'm gonna complain. I'm gonna see why the bathrooms ain't that. But like I said, they is nothing maintained. Is filthy. It be feces all on the floors, all on the toilet. It be throw up like, and then they use the bathroom inside the showers because some of them scared to use the bathrooms. So the showers is less people in there. The food, like Ms. Coleman said, the food is disgusting, and the people that serve the food is they very disrespectful. It makes you don't even want to eat. You don't even want to go to them and get nothing to eat. And this is why the drug problem is so bad in the MICA shelters, is because these guys, they'd rather go get some drugs to feel better from the treatment that they going through inside the MICA shelters.
Insane.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them refuse to come into MICA shelters to live because of the treatment, the way inside the MICA shelters. That's the whole thing about it. If they change what's going on inside the MICA shelters, then it would show outside, because a lot of guys, you know, they, like I said, they feel at peace when they outside or they on the train. They don't have nobody telling them what to do or do this or do that. So, you know, a lot of the guys, when they leave out the MICA shelters, they already upset, and their mental illness is already triggered. But they can't take it out inside the shelters because the shelter staff is kicking them out. So only thing the shelter staff is doing is kicking them out to the public. And only place they can go is the MTA, because it's the cold, is the warmest. They can sleep and can't nobody tell them what to do.
So they make you leave at what time in the day? Like you have to leave at what time? How does that work?
Before the coronavirus, you have to leave out the dorm 9 o'clock in the morning. You can't return back until 4 p.m. So from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., all of MICA clients was out on the street harassing everybody. And I'm pretty sure y'all see the K2 smokers and how they be all on the, man.
So why don't they give them some sort of programming or something instead of putting them out on the street at 9 o'clock in the morning to just roam the streets?
That's deplorable.
Because they don't have to deal with them. They'd rather let the general public deal with them. If they put them out, like they shifts start at 8 to 4. So if they and none of them like working. So if they shift start from 8 to 4 and you putting the clients out from 9 to 4,
you're not even doing that. You're not even doing that. What are you doing when you're not doing that?
Exactly.
Well, nothing. They don't do nothing, y'all. I'm telling y'all, like,
I don't know why they're doing that to them.
Inhumane treatment, man.
I know that usually they kick them out the shelter in the morning so they can go out there looking for a certain type of appointment. But if y'all in a mental illness shelter, y'all should have a fixed income. And if you have a fixed income, y'all should have a fixed income voucher that's supposed to help y'all find y'all apartment or any place to stay. They're not giving nobody no sort of fixed income voucher.
Well, the vouchers is, y'all have to understand, nothing been going on since the coronavirus hit. Now, for everybody else, the coronavirus might have been a bad thing, but for the homeless community, it was a blessing for us, because it put us on a platform where a whole bunch of people now have to start paying attention to us and what's really going on inside the shelters.
Wow. Yeah,
It's really sad because when you think about it, when you're housing people in a shelter, the government, right? They're housing people in a shelter. This is their home. How are you telling someone to go out from 9 to 4?
No, Miss Coleman. No, Miss Coleman. This is not our home.
But I'm just saying, it's a temporary, right? It's a temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary, exactly.
It's unheard of. It's barbaric. It's inhumane. They shouldn't be forcing you all that. Sometimes it's 20 degrees. You're sending people out in the cold.
No, well,
at a certain COVID.
At a certain temperature, they can't send us out like everybody's saying, but not during the COVID. They just started let us stay in the room because of the COVID.
Okay.
But you know, the COVID was just started like a year ago. But prior to that, for my last 9 years, they've been kicking all the mental clients outside at 9 o'clock, and you can't come back till 4 p.m. So what they supposed to do? They don't do nothing but harass all the neighborhood people that the shelters is around. If you go around any neighborhood that got a M.I.C.A shelter in their community, they would tell you that's the worst place in the world. Do y'all remember Myrtle and Broadway?
Yeah, I know the area well.
You remember that back in the years? You know, it was a shelter 2 blocks down the block from there, right?
Yeah, it was crazy over there.
Any M.I.C.A shelter, any areas like that, if it got a M.I.C.A shelter in there. So it's not only it's not just MTA people, it's also the community that the M.I.C.A shelters is in. But again, where these guys gonna go if you kicking them out at 9 o'clock? They can't come back to 4. We homeless. We ain't got nowhere to go.
Alfonso, what I wanted to ask you, I mean, because what doesn't make any sense to me is they have you in the shelter. They kick you out from 9 to 4. They don't provide any programs for you guys to be productive, for you to do something, for you to, to
get better.
Arts and crafts. I don't know, just something to, if not heal you, but you do something valuable with your time.
Right, treat them. Actually treat their...
Yeah, treat your illness with some sort of programs or something. A music program, I don't know, a dancing program, arts program, something, a job search program.
Some sort of trade.
Trade. Is any of that available to you?
They have them flyers up, man. They do have them flyers, but that don't make that, it's just for show because they got them flyers up. Let me tell y'all something. If it's 20,000 M.I.C.A clients in New York City, at least 10,000 of them can't read. So what's the sense of putting flyers up? That's all they do is put flyers up.
It sounds like you'll need to have a reading program then from 9 to 4.
I don't know, man.
That's like the root. You know what I'm saying? If that's the root, then you go, you know what? Listen, we got 10,000 people here that are illiterate. We need to, from 9 to 4, they need to be in some form of school, right? For reading, so that we can, because the idea, this is what I thought the idea of a shelter was, right? To, yes, to house you, but then to, help you to reintegrate you into society.
You would think would be happening.
Right? Which then would bring more money to society because then you become a part of the economy. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I'm asking, like,
no money.
No, what it is that
DHS won't make no money. Their whole thing is designed to keep us in there, man, so they can make money.
It sounds like the same with prison. It's the same thing.
That's when you think about it.
What you're describing sounds like prison.
This is the way they run it too, y'all. You would think you in prison. Like when I had, like before, when we come through the metal detector, they just try, even if you don't ring, they try to tell you to take your shoes off, turn your pockets inside out. What?
It's inhumane.
Get out of here.
It's inhumane. This is insanity.
Very inhumane, y'all. Very inhumane treatment, man. And it's so hard to get information about what goes on in the shelter because they have that law, that confirmation law stuff, like, just because we're in the shelter, that they don't have to put out a whole bunch of information. But even in the people, like, I've been lost for the last 4 or 5 months. I don't know what's going on inside the shelters with the COVID-19 virus. I don't know if guys are still dying. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
You would think you would think that it ain't no COVID-19 virus the way this is going on in here. Like the second wave, we heard nothing about the second wave, but I could tell you that the living conditions was the same way from the first wave.
Wow.
So like, just like how Cuomo was trying to cover up the nursing home, the Blasio doing this.
Okay.
The Blasio but somebody needs to check into the homeless DHS death toll like they did with the nursing home.
Yeah.
Because the Blasio, he did us real dirty during this COVID-19 virus. He didn't do anything.
Wow.
We was expendable to Bill.
Wow.
Yeah.
We was expendable, man.
There needs to be an investigation.
So you're saying there are people that died in the shelter that have not been counted?
It might, I don't know, like that information is hard to get, but I know that it's people that died in the shelters because of the COVID. I was in Help Myers shelter, which is Ward's Island, and is owned by the Cuomo. I was in Help Myers from April to September. At least 4 or 5 people died that they found dead in their room.
Wow. And so after they died, did they sanitize? So I know in Nycha people died in apartments and they didn't even sanitize the apartments or nothing like that. So after these people died, was there some sort of sanitation?
Man. It's just so disrespectful because, like I said, it's a business. Right after the person died, they sent somebody else in that bed.
Yo.
Long as they sign that bed sheet, long as that bed sheet is full at 10 o'clock, that's all they care about.
Yeah, that's
And this
incredible.
is the whole fact. They don't.
That's incredible.
No, this is what's going on.
Wow.
This is going. So you could imagine,
you know what's crazy about that to me, Alfonso? I just want to say this, because I always look at the root of things, and this is people, just people, treating other people badly.
Like
you know what I'm saying? Like no integrity, no type of empathy or sympathy in the situation, and you just decide, you know what? No humanity, right? You treat me like I'm the enemy, right? Here it is. You give me raw chicken, and I mean, like where's the conscience with these people?
Yeah,
where you go, you know what? This person's mentally ill. They need, I'm going to treat them with respect. I'm going to do the right thing. Where's the do the right thing? You know what I'm saying?
You know what it has to be? There's probably no real accountability.
Well, that's what it sounds like.
That's one of the factors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you said you
But I mean, do I have to be accountable to be a good person?
No.
You know what
But
I'm
if
saying?
somebody's on top of you, right?
To make you do it. Yeah, sure, the supervisor. Yeah.
If somebody's not making a good job, then
You can fire them.
You
Get
won't
rid
get a
of them.
job. But did you say that you were not mentally diagnosed, but being in that environment caused you to have a diagnosis?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, like in 2015, I was about 40. I would say about 40. And out of 40 years, I never had a mental illness. And I was in the shelter system for 5 years. I was in a regular shelter, not no M.I.C.A shelter prior to that. And they sent me to the M.I.C.A shelters because of my complaining. And I never knew what a M.I.C.A shelter was because I never was in that environment. And when they told me about it, what a M.I.C.A shelter was, I started making a lot of complaints. And if y'all see, I'm gonna show y'all something. Like, I don't know if y'all can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
See that number? Y'all can see it?
Yeah.
These it's 16, 17. These are all these are years that are missing. I've been in the shelter 2011, 12, 13. I made complaints all them years too, but these is this year. A lot of these complaints is right here is me trying to get out the M.I.C.A shelter.
So isn't that against the law or something to put somebody who's not diagnosed into a M.I.C.A shelter? If they
What did they diagnose you with?
They diagnosed me with post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and bipolar.
They did that to you.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
They did that to you. You don't wake up with post-traumatic stress disorder. You don't wake up. You're not born with that. That's because of a traumatic experience. They did that to you.
And that was because of 2 years already being in the mental illness shelter But I want to know what's the reason why they even put you in the mental illness shelter if you wasn't even diagnosed with a mental illness.
Because of my complaining. Like me, I'm different, y'all, man. Like, you know, I make a lot of complaints.
Punishment.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of retaliation towards me, man. Like, you know, it's nothing done by the books when it comes to me. You know,
Did you try to get diagnosed around 2015 to prove that you wasn't able to, that you didn't have no type of mental illness to be in there?
it took me 2 years to get out that type of setting. I got out of that type of setting at the end of 2017. And then in 2018, I went to they sent me back to a regular shelter, and I went to see the psych lady to get evaluated for housing. But by that time, it was a lot of things going on. Like, I didn't know my whole body was changing. Like, I get on a train, I just start sweating, or I be around my family and I just start sweating, and then I can't hold eye contact. It was just a lot of my, you know, and I'm 40 years old. My body never was going through this, so I know something is wrong. So in 2018, that's what she told me, like, you know, and it was definitely from being around. I went from sleeping with regular people. When I went to a M.I.C.A shelter, the guy who I slept next to, he slept with an army helmet on his head.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Do y'all hear me? An
Wow.
army helmet on his head every day. And when you in the M.I.C.A shelter, see, you have a mental illness. You could assault the staff if you in the M.I.C.A shelter and get away with it. Only thing they're gonna do is send you to the hospital. Like, it's sad. And just like the guy who did that to the people on the A train, he have a mental health problem. All right, we know he wrong, but how much trouble he gonna get into?
Wow.
You know, like what y'all gonna do to him? Y'all, what? He have a mental health problem, but that's just because if you know he'd rather be out there than inside the shelter.
Yeah.
Have you sought to get an attorney? Because it sounds like you have a lawsuit. I mean, somebody should be sued and should pay and be accountable for this. This is a crime.
Well, I got a few lawsuits in. I got 2 in right now in the federal court, the Southern District. And
that's right.
yeah, I had one in I'm gonna try to get it back. I put about my mental illness, I put a lawsuit in 2018 into the Eastern District, and you know, I'm gonna try to get that case pulled back up, man, because you know, like you said, it's accountability, you know, and they keep retaliating against me and making me suffer like I'm doing something wrong, you know, like nobody's supposed to be treated like this. Like, at the end of the day, everybody is human.
That's right.
And then you know, like the whole thing with the homelessness is like the word homeless, like they got that word messed up. A word homeless only means that we need our own apartment or our own house. It doesn't mean that we're stupid, we bums, and we don't have nobody that don't love us, or then we have other things going on outside the shelter, you know? Like in my case, like I can live with a female for years, but I want my own. I don't want to live under no female roof. I have a daughter, she's 13. You know, like I want my own. Like I said, I was locked up. I want my name on a lease. I want my name on my own car, you know? I've been living that life under female names, and they doing that. I don't want to do that no more. I want my own, you know, and you know, because of my car accident, this is the only way that I could get it, you know. And
can you do me a favor, because I think what people and I'm glad I have the opportunity to have you on the show, because I think, how did you end up? Can you take us kind of through your life from going into adulthood into you ending up in the shelter the first time? Can you kind of, like, graduating high school? Like, where'd you go to high school?
I went to Abraham Lincoln in Brooklyn. I didn't graduate. I dropped out in the 12th grade. Okay. And like I said, at 23, I got locked up in I was 23 in 1997. I got locked up. I got a federal charge, and I had to do 7 years. So from 1997 to 2004, I was incarcerated.
So basically, what you're saying is, off of the cuff, coming out of high school, you were in a bad situation.
Yeah, coming out of high school, you know, I was in the streets, man. You know,
right. Yeah.
like I was in the streets, man.
Okay, and then you got locked up, and you did 23, and then you did 7 years. So that puts you. You came out. You were about 30.
And I never worked. I never worked a day in my life. I never did none of that until I came home when I was 30.
But there should be for cats who are coming out of prison, there should be some help there too.
Yeah, especially going that young
to get you on your feet, which I know is not happening to a lot of brothers that come home. They come home.
No, y'all. Let me explain that. Can no guy coming home telling me that he can't do it. When I came home in 2004, I went to the CEO program. They helped me get a job. I was working.
What was the first job you had?
Yeah, I was working. I worked for Grand Central Partnership for 2 years, from 2004 to 2006. Then I worked for another nonprofit called Acorn from 2006 to 2008.
Okay.
I worked with them as a community organizer. But like I came home, I did my 5 years. I put my 5 years working. It's just unfortunately I was in a car accident.
Right.
But can no guy come home and tell me that he can't? It's not. No.
Okay, brother. All right.
Oh, I know that. I know.
It's spots for them. It's spot. If you don't want to go back to jail, you're gonna make it work.
All right. So what?
Yeah.
And when you were with Acorn and those guys, they paid you a basic sort of living wage that was applicable for your survival and for you to maintain yourself.
Yeah. Well, at that time when I was working with Acorn, I was I was with my kid's mother. I was with her, so I just came home, so I'm just getting back to the streets. I'm just I ain't fully done, but I'm doing the right thing now. I'm not.
So it sounds like the accident is where things got a little left, so to speak. Which can happen to anybody.
Yeah,
and happen to anyone. Anybody can get hurt and find themselves in a situation, and now your whole life's impacted like this.
And that's just the way I get epidural shots in my lower back, man.
Wow.
And the accident wasn't your fault. Someone ran into the back of the car or something?
Yeah, exactly. It was a no fault.
It sounds like so no lawsuit, huh?
No, it was a lawsuit, but that was like when I was 20. That was in when I got that 2008, 2009, I got the lawsuit money.
Okay.
I think what it shows that anybody can end up in that situation. Anybody.
And I think it's important. That's why I wanted to ask him that question, because we all alienate homeless people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You see them in the train, you go, oh, he's homeless. She's homeless, right? And we do that, but we never stop to think, how did they get there? You know what I'm saying? Because for the most part, we all went from first grade to 12th grade. You know what I'm saying? And then we graduated 12th grade or didn't, but we all kind of started in the basic same sort of a space. So where did they go wrong that they ended up in their story? Some people, you know what, there was Wall Street, brokers, and it went left, And it could be people that are just coming out of the system and they go left. In other words, what I'm saying, homeless is not just the problem of one type of person, right? Homelessness is could have been anything and end up homeless. I know a homeless guy that he was a white guy. And every day he sat in LaGuardia Airport waiting for a plane with a suit on. And every day he'd wash up. So one day, because I used to work in LaGuardia Airport, one day I said, this dude is cleaning himself up in the bathroom, and then he would sit there. He would just sit there all day and all night. Then he'd go back, and I said, oh, he's homeless. So I went to go ask him, because he was well-dressed. He wore a suit every day. He kept himself clean. My guy said, I said, what happened? He was like, my business went under, blah, 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 blah. Lost my wife, lost the kids, lost the family, and basically lost my mind.
Well, yeah.
And there he is living in LaGuardia Airport. And he was in LaGuardia Airport because nobody would bother him. That's it. And you couldn't tell if he wasn't waiting for a plane. Unless you worked all night and then realized he was sleeping there. So, I mean, I get it. It's just different people. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people shouldn't look down on anyone, because anyone is a step away from that.
One or two situations, you miss, and you'll be in the you'll be right there.
So,
and I just want to say, I myself and my kids was in the shelter. We lost our house in Jersey, which had lead in it, and we had a real estate business at the time, and the business went bad. So I can relate to what you're talking about. And then you in a shelter, and then you stuck there. I was very fortunate. I got out. I guess that program you're talking about. I was one of the last people to, you know, sort of get one of those vouchers, but I got very, very fortunate. And I know people that got stuck in there for years, you know, and it's tough when
I just want to ask you a question. You've been, what was that decision like? Like you're going from living in a home to going, we got to go to a shelter. Like what was that process like? Like what
it was traumatic. I could speak to how it makes you feel. They do make you feel inhuman. I remember the first time.
I mean, before you even went there, like you're home and you're in your home that you've been paying, you know, the lease on or the rent or you know,
it's
the bills. And then you turn and you go, honey, we got to go to a shelter. Like
it's very traumatic. You know, it's humbling.
Was it someone you had to call? Like how was that? How did that process then start?
We had my son tested for lead.
Okay.
In the house that we lived in, we had this big, beautiful house, had lead in it, so we couldn't stay. And this is in New Jersey, and Jersey doesn't have a shelter system like New York. It's like very scattered, you know. So we had to come back to the city, and went to the Bronx, where you get treated like an animal. They gave us like a little bologna sandwiches, you know. It was just insane. Right. It was insane in there, you know. So I could see what you're talking about. These conditions and how they treat you would just cause you to be traumatized.
You had 2 children.
And you had 2
kids, and then they put you in these hotels, you know. And then I looked at the paperwork one day and I said, you know what? They're making $3,000 or more on my family, you know, and we're living in this condition that's not worth $3,000. It was a little kitchenette with no heat, so we had to put the water on for steam, you know, just to heat the room up. And then you come in late. So we came in late one day. Then they shipped us out to the Bronx.
Wow.
So now my kids are going to school in Brooklyn. So we got to get up like 5 in to take a train. And the experience is very traumatic. And it's, like you said, the staff treats you like you're garbage, you know. So you don't know. I mean, they're not treating like you're a human being. And there was nothing offered, you know, to really inspire you to come out of that situation. So it's very fortunate that me and my kids was able to get out. But I've been saying all that because people think that if you're in that situation, that they stigmatize you. Anyone can be in that situation. So I'll share that story to say, brother, you know, it could be anybody. Don't stigmatize those people. You don't know what their story was or how they got there.
I want to ask, do they give y'all like, because I know y'all probably would receive food stamps or something like that, but do y'all have like a stove or a hot plate that they at least give y'all?
No, when the COVID virus, before the virus, you go down to the kitchen and you know, they got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they feed us from out the kitchen.
So they don't got a shared stove or a hot plate. So if you want to get your own like chicken or rice,
no, you can't. This is a M.I.C.A shelter, man. You know, like they not giving us that. But in the hotels now, we got our microwave. So, and then you could bring some food in.
Yeah, do they give you any kind of money or any type of you know, like here's a Metro card or anything like that?
They give you a Metro card to get you from one shelter to the other, even if you got like 30 bags.
Yep.
They give you a hard time in a Metro card. Like what's going on right now in the shelter system? It's hard to get Metro cards, and it's hard to get our mail because of COVID-19 virus. And you know, a lot of guys just sitting here waiting for you know, they waiting on their unemployment checks and stuff. And the staff, if the staff don't like you, they're not giving you your mail. I've been trying to get if the staff don't like you, they're not giving you your mail.
Wow.
I've been trying to get my ID card for the last 3 months. And I just left Help Myers. I told them I was getting transferred to keep my mail there and I'm gonna come pick it up. But just because it was me, they sent my ID card back to DMV. You know, and you know, a lot of guys and been complaining to me too about mail. Because, you know, like if you in the shelter and then they move you to a hotel, your mail still go to that shelter. So you have to wait till that shelter staff bring that mail to the hotel. You understand? And it'd be like 2-3 weeks, guys waiting for their checks, and then you know they mad why our mental illness is going because the way y'all treat us.
Right, you don't get your money and everything else. And
exactly. And then y'all, just because y'all don't like us, y'all gonna throw our mail away or don't give us our mail or return the sender. Like, they the worst, y'all.
It's unjust.
Yes, they are the worst.
Unjust.
Well,
And they
Alfonso,
allow it. Yeah.
We got
we've hit the hour that we were supposed to be on, and I just first of all I want to thank you for coming on, right?
Thank y'all for having me.
And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I didn't expect to hear half the things that you're talking about. You know, I mean, I'm sitting here astounded, and you could tell you had a lot of airtime because we really didn't say anything because we were just listening to you and going, "Yo, like that's what's going on, like that's what's happening, that's how they're treating you." Like, unbelievable. Listen, you got to stay in contact with the show,
and
just let us know
how
what
can
your
we,
process is.
I guess there's a start by giving you a platform, but whatever we could do to really shed light on this, you know, we got to do that.
Yeah,
This stories we're not hearing, and I'm sure there's others that are even worse.
Yeah, Denise said that
we're not even hearing about.
Denise, what's her name? Denise Crossland said that gentleman is telling the truth. So she's talking about, you know, hey, listen, what you're talking about is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only way I know how to give it up, man. Like, you know,
Yeah,
I don't know how to bite my tongue and sugarcoat anything.
Nah. You know, and once again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and you're welcome back anytime,
Yeah,
brother.
please come back. Yeah,
You know, just to give kind of an update, because I think you really gave us insight on something that, you know, I can personally say that I was blind to. I had no idea that was even how it went down. I knew people that had gone in the shelters, and you know, I worked in a women's shelter as the exterminator, you know, and I didn't see anything that was you know, I wasn't involved in the shelter system, so I never really knew of, and this was in the 80s though, but I never knew that there was, you know, these abuses that were going on, and the abuses were perpetuated, because they always say that the abuses are perpetuated by you guys on each other, and now you're coming into light and saying, listen, it's perpetuated by the staff.
Yeah,
Waited
definitely.
by the management, you know. Like
yeah, I don't, y'all, like out of 10 years, I mean, you know, you in here with a bunch of guys. I really don't have no problem with the clients. My problems be with staff and DHS.
Right. Wow.
I don't have no problems with the clients. They respect me, I respect them, and that's it.
Well, listen,
But my problems be with the staff.
Yeah,
this is crazy, man. I'm stunned.
Thank you again, Alfonso, for coming on. I'm glad to have made a connection with you.
We appreciate y'all. I speak for the whole homeless community, man. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for having us.
Keep fighting for people in
What I want to say is that when the homeless community and the housing community and the Nycha community, there's so many affected people. When we all come together, that's gonna be powerful. And let's try to work and make that happen, man. Because it's really one fight. And what you're describing sounds worse than prison, you know. And those who are living in those situations got to come together.
When one suffer, we all suffer.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what it's about.
I mean, we can't get past, you know, treating people right. You know, then I mean, this goes into police violence and brutality, systemic racism. This moves into all of those things. You know what I'm saying? We've just uncovered something that we were not aware of. Or I wasn't aware of.
Ethics, integrity.
You know, I mean, all of those things. You know, so
I just want to ask, how many people of color, and what's I just want to know that before you go. Is it mostly people of color in these shelters, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what's in here a lot, y'all, is people of color, and a lot of illegal immigrants who don't have their papers, and they're causing a lot of problems in these shelters too. Like all of these problems, all of these problems don't be from the regular, you know, the citizens. A lot of problems be from the people who don't have papers that's in the shelters, because they think that's their house. They're not going nowhere.
Okay, so now you have to keep going. So what's going on with them? The people with papers, what are they doing?
The people with the no papers?
Yeah, what are they doing? Actually,
they doing everything that they ain't supposed to do, and they ain't got nowhere. Like these are the people that dirties the shelters. These are people that feces on the floor and in the showers and everything. I don't knock how they was living, But before they came over here, that's how they lived. Like they use the bathroom wherever they can use the bathroom at. So now they give over here, and then once they get in the shelter system, and they know that this is a safety roof for them. You know, they cannot come in the shelter and take them out unless they commit a crime. So, you know, they all they're acting up, they're doing is inside the shelter. They're not acting up outside the shelter because they know they could get arrested. And if they get arrested, they know they could get deported. So all of their acting up is inside the shelter. And then they think they own everything. And then it'd be a lot of Spanish. They be running around like they a gang. It's a whole, and it's very unsafe because a person with no papers, they'd rather kill somebody and do 25 years in jail in New York City than to go back to their country.
Wow.
I don't understand how them with no paperwork can actually be in there. Like, that's crazy. It's hard for people to actually stay in New York.
There's a bunch of them in here, man. It's all a business, man, you know? It's all a business, man. That's just more money for DHS.
I mean, the one thing I can say, and I can, you know, because I've been in jail in another country. And I got to tell you, he's right. They'd rather do 25 here than to do jail in another country because it's nothing like you could ever imagine. It is some of the most inhumane conditions. I remember there was 25 of us in the cell, and there was a spigot and a bucket, and that's where you had to go to the bathroom. And you had to crouch over the spigot and the bucket. And we slept on a concrete floor, and it was almost like we was in a cave. And that was, and they was throwing food at us, like it was wild. So
Where was this?
This was in Morocco. I was in Morocco.
What you did, Rock?
Come on now.
What you did, Rock?
Morocco.
What you did, Rock?
And I was in jail for like maybe like a few hours. I was like, I get it.
Oh, man.
He was detained. He was detained.
I was detained. But I was detained in the country for a little longer too.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It was kind of one of those things. But and this is, you know, there was dudes who was in there that been there like 5-10 years. Like I was like, wow, this is really crazy. So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That they would rather, you know what, just club somebody in the head, bust them in the head, and go into our system. And, you know, and a lot of times our system is actually better than, you know, where they actually live free.
Exactly. You're a whole fact. That's 100% right.
Yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I've traveled to a few, you know, third world countries and towns, and I can tell you, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But listen, that's an entirely different show.
Yeah.
And listen, brother, I'm so glad you came on. And listen, we'll talk to you again, all right?
Thanks, y'all. Thank y'all for having me, man.
Thank you for coming on.
Stay safe and healthy.
Be in touch.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Bless you.
See y'all later.
Peace. And that was that, man. Look at that. Wow, man. Alphonse. Thank you, Alphonse.
That was
All right.
insane, man.
Yeah.
That was a revelation.
Exposing it. Yeah.
You know,
That's incredible.
that was a rough one, guys. I gotta say that was a rough show.
Yeah.
That was a rough show.
Wow.
You know, thank you.
To think and reflect.
Yeah.
You know, it's rare that I get a show like that it just slows me down. Like I'm just trying to think.
I can't even imagine.
I'm just trying to
It's
think.
beyond
I'm just trying
beyond
to,
comprehension.
you know, I gotta.
In New York City, the people are being treated like that.
Yeah.
You know, and I know in Queensbridge, he's right. They just sent him out, and it's a ruckus. It's crazy. You know, and it's just insane.
We have to do better.
Yeah, we do.
have to do better.
We really do.
Yeah, I mean,
They have to be in that place.
I just don't get like that much. That was a lot. You know what I'm saying? And we got to do better, people. We got to be better people.
Yeah.
People, we got to be better people than what he's talking about. I'm gonna get on with it tomorrow. Once again, 7:30. I'm streaming at 6:30. I'm streaming from YouTube from my Groovy Track page, which is GROOVEY TRAC. We're doing the mayoral debate. The mayoral debate. We have, I think, 9 to 10 candidates are showing up. Same thing like we did 2 weeks ago up in Harlem.
Cool.
Except for the candidates will be there. Cynthia Tibbs is a moderator. Tony Herbert is a moderator. and there's 2 other people that are moderating. It's 4 moderators, and a guy from BLS, and a TA president. One of the TA presidents also doing it. But that's at 6:30 tomorrow. So guys, make sure you, if you look on my page, you'll see the flyer and the link, and you can just click the link and it'll zoom you into the page. All right.
One night you're doing big things.
One night you're one people. We're doing big things, man. Incredible. What you got going on?
Next week we'll have Tamika Mapp. She'll be on the show.
Okay.
She'll be our guest. She's state committee.
What?
So
She's always in the chat room.
Yeah, and break down some things. That's a position. The position she holds, a lot of people are not familiar with it. She's gonna shed some light on some things for us.
Okay.
And everything else she's doing.
All right, that's a bet. Hold on, who's squeaking? Stan, what are you doing next week?
Well, we're gonna be hitting the flyers.
Didn't you just do a photo shoot, Stan?
Yeah, I had a photo shoot this morning.
Okay.
So I got some pictures taken, and we're gonna create the flyer and the posters and start getting them into the stores. And I just also want to give a shout out to all the small business owners. I've been speaking to a lot of them during my campaign, and they're hurting too. So we're looking at ways that we can maybe help some of those small business owners who are being ignored, by many of our elected officials. So I want to put these flyers in those stores and have a dialogue with these folks and try to figure out a solution and get some funding for these people that did not get funding through the stimulus, and now they're about to lose their business. Because they can't pay the rent. So it's going to be a tragedy in our communities, if this is allowed to happen.
Yeah.
Got you. Big shout out to our new intern. It was great having you. What's her name again? Now she's on the time delay, so she can't watch. Watch. I'm sorry. So there you go. What's your name again, Mama? Nakama.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
She's in the Justice for All Zoom meeting. She came to 7.
I know. I said she's on the time delay. She's going to get it in a minute.
She came to our 7 committee meeting for Justice for All. So
dope, man.
that was good.
Doing
that was
good
good.
stuff.
Yep.
Get those hours. That's what I said. Get
absolutely.
it virtually and what you need to feel.
Mike Jones, anything you got to say? Because I'm ready to punch out.
Well, I just want everybody to know they can subscribe to our One Nycha YouTube page, One Nycha TV, O-N-E Nycha TV, and, subscribe. Yes.
Because then we'll stream there. We just got to get our subscribers up to about 1,000 subscribers.
Yep.
And then we're good. I mean, we get the views. The views isn't the problem. The problem is that you guys aren't subscribing. So if you guys start subscribing, then I can stream to YouTube instead of the other page. There we go. One Nycha, one people, y'all.
Nycha, one people.
We out.
Lifting off.
Lifting off.